All right, we're back. We are on page 4 of Notes 24 of Calc AB. This page is just super dense with information, so there's not a lot to do. There's one problem at the end, which we'll do, but let's just look through these boxes. So the first one deals with particular solutions. So particular solution really just means solve for C, but there's like rules, right? So the solution to a differential equation is a function that must be continuous on an interval, technically an open interval, that contains the initial condition. So there's kind of like 3 requirements. It's got to be a function, it's got to be continuous, and it's got to be continuous on an interval that contains the initial condition. So that's what we're doing when we're finding a particular solution, which just means solve the equation. Sometimes my students will say, like, I didn't know what to do because it said find a particular solution. Like, solve it. That's all you're ever doing with these things. So the next thing you want to do is you want to really think it through, right? The initial condition contains a lot of information. So it tells you the x value. So whatever you're saying your function is, it must contain that x value in its domain. And then it also contains a y value. And the y value can tell you, do you choose a positive square root, a negative square root? Who knows? So a lot of information in the initial condition. When you are going to solve for C, it's a matter of preference. However, I would say if you're going to exponentiate, so if you have something like the natural log of the absolute value of y or something like that, so if you are going to exponentiate first, then solve for C. Your life will be significantly easier. If you don't have to exponentiate, solve for C as soon as possible, and your life will be easier. So those are like the 2 things. They're kind of like opposite advice, but it just depends on what you need to do. And then this box really just contains what we're going to do in this problem. So let's do this problem. So we want to solve the differential equation with initial condition y of 4 equals 6. Or it could have said find the particular solution to the differential equation such that y of 4 equals 6, or whatever. So what I'm going to do is, I hate that 8 minus y. Like, if you leave that, you are probably going to make a mistake. I don't want to do that. So I'm going to rewrite this as dy dx equals, I'm going to factor the -1 out of 8 minus y, and it becomes -1 times y minus 8. And then -3 times -1 is +3, and then y minus 8. So that's my first step. Now I'm going to separate and integrate. So dy over y minus 8 is equal to 3 dx, and then integral natural log absolute value of y minus 8. I guess I like to do parentheses and absolute value. I don't know that you necessarily need them. I mean, absolute value is, you definitely need the absolute value. They're kind of like a grouping symbol, so you don't really need parentheses there, but I think it looks weird if you don't put them. And then plus c goes with the independent variable, which is definitely x, because it's the thing in the denominator of our dy dx. Skip a couple steps here and just go straight to y minus 8 is c e to the 3x. And then once we've done that, we want to use the initial condition that y of 4 equals 6. So I'm going to say, let's say we are solve for C. So that'll give me 6 minus 8 equals c e to the 12th, right? 3 times 4 is 12. So -2 equals c e to the 12th. So c is equal to -2 divided by e to the 12th, but I'm going to write it as -2 e to the -12. So -2 e to the -12. And then we want to combine the 2 things that we have, right? So we have this and we have this. So we'll combine those. And I want to solve for y. So instead of saying y minus 8, I'm going to say y is equal to 8 minus 2 e to the -12th times e to the 3x. Or y is equal to 8 minus 2 e to the 3x minus 12. That, I think, is my final answer. I don't feel like I really need to highlight it, but I'm going to, because sometimes that's the thing I do. I'm going to check it on the calculator. The calculator has, I ran a security update on my computer, and I think I regret it. I mean, I guess the computer is safer now. But now when I try to use the calculator on these videos, I often am crashing the just crashing the whole video, and it doesn't really make any sense to me. But so you do menu 4, arrow up a couple times, get the differential equation solver. I'm just gonna like do it. Y prime equals -3, 8 minus y. So I'm typing in the original so that it can like definitely check my work. And y of 4 equals 6, comma, independent variable is x, dependent variable is y. Solve that. So we get 8 minus 2 e to the 3x minus 12, which is what we got when we did it by hand. So it looks like we did a pretty good job there. So let's go back to the iPad so we can just take a look at it one more time. And there you go. All right, so a really dense page of information. You need to know everything that's in every one of these boxes. And like, that's not comfortable to think if you aren't familiar with it yet. But like knowing this means that you will at least be armed to succeed, right? And that's kind of the name of the game. So that's this entire page. And I'm gonna cut the video here, come back in another video and solve some more of this stuff. So I hope to see you there.